What's up, you guys? It's your boy AOT Tom Westman, and I'm back at it again with another video. I do want you guys to go over to my Instagram page at All Things College Football. I'm gonna leave that picture right here, just for you guys to see. And I would love for you guys to come over there and follow the page, like our videos and pictures. We've had a couple college football players, come in there and really enjoy our page and really like pictures and comment and things like that. So it's been really dope. So I would love for you guys to come over there and see what we're doing at the All Things College Football page. The Instagram handle is All Things CFB_. So I would love for you guys to come over there and just come see what we got going on over there. So I really enjoy that. All right, I'm gonna jump right into the content now, man. I know a lot of people were telling me and texting me and emailing me and things like that. Excuse me. That basically I haven't dropped anything in like the last 2 weeks or so. Really, it's just because we're in this dead period right now, where there's literally nothing going on but like a WNBA game in the middle of the week and baseball. I mean, and some nights you see poker on TV and things like that. But as of right now, really nothing's going on in sports. But it's almost time, fellas. The Feel Steel magazine just came out about 3 weeks ago. And for people that know, Phil Steele is a big, college football sports analyst. And he's good at what he does, and I enjoy it. I bought the magazine, and I read into it. And almost to the date, last year we did a thing where we talked about, the top teams in each conference. We talked about every team in each conference. And I think I dropped that last year, July 11th. And you guys can go back and fact check me on that. And today, we're jumping back into it again this year. And we're going to start off like we did last year with the ACC, man. So let's just get into it. What I'll basically do, and if you're not familiar to my channel, and what I did last year, basically we'll go through each team in the ACC and, see, kind of predict where they're going to be at and predict where they're, what players are going to make an impact and what they're going to do. So I'm going to jump right into it, man. I'm going to break down each conference like I did last year in each division. The ACC is what we'll focus on today, obviously. The Atlantic Division is the Clemson Tigers, the Florida State Seminoles, the NC State Wolfpack, the Wake Forest Deacons, the Boston College Eagles, the Louisville Cardinals, and the Syracuse Orange. And then on the coastal side, you have the Miami Hurricanes, the Virginia Tech Hokies, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the Pittsburgh Panthers, the Blue Devils of Duke, and then North Carolina Tar Heels and Virginia Cavaliers. So I'm going to start out with my lowest teams first. I'm going to start out on the coastal side so you guys can just kind of flow with this. The team that I think is probably in the worst shape this year in the coastal is Virginia. Their own coach only believes that, I don't know if you guys seen this article, maybe about 2 months ago, their own coach only believes they have about 25 actually NCAA Division I football players on that team. Most college teams are about 100 deep. So for a guy that's saying we only have a quarter of what we need to have, that's a problem. Their own coach said that. So yeah, that's definitely a problem. Bronco Mendenhall definitely got to get those guys good. I don't really, Virginia's just, they ain't it, man. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be rude. I say 4 wins this year, 3 wins this year tops. The team I have after them is North Carolina Tar Heels. I don't think they can get any worse than they were last year. They were 3-9 last year. Horrible year, but also a lot of that had to do with injuries. Andre Smith got injured. A lot of injuries, a lot of, lost to the draft. They didn't expect Mitch Trubisky to leave. They didn't expect Elijah Hood to leave. So a lot of that affected them too, and they didn't recruit up to what they should have really been recruiting to. So that played a role in them, but I do like, Anthony I think it's Ratliff Williams. He's from Matthews, North Carolina, which is right outside of Charlotte. He's a very talented guy, and I would like to see what he's going to do this year. And I also want to see what they're going to do at the quarterback this year. Or are they just going to stick with, Chad Surratt or anything like that? The team I have in front of them is the Duke Blue Devils. I really like Daniel Jones. I think I explained this last year. I played in high school against him. He's a very talented player. His football IQ was amazing. And I've watched film on him. He's a great guy. He's really talented. I like Brenton Brown. He's another one that's really impressive as well. And I think Duke can get to a bowl game this year. I say 7-5, 6-6 area. The next team I have is Pittsburgh Panthers. Pittsburgh, I mean, their defense is always pretty steady, and they always have a pretty steady offense. Last year was a down year for them. I do think they're going to have to, kind of get better. I mean, in their defense, they lost a lot to the draft the year before, so I understand them, kind of struggling this year. But I think Pitt has to get back, to being what they are. Last year they were 5-7, so they're going to expect better this year. I'm expecting better from them this year, so I'm gonna say maybe 6-6. Somewhere in that area. The other team that I feel like is a pretty good team, and I had them as a sleeper last year, and that's the Georgia Tech, Yellow Jackets. I think that, the Rambling Wreck, they're a great squad. I just feel like their offense, and I will continue to say this, their offense is just outdated. Paul Johnson is still kind of stuck in the, 70s and 80s. I'm gonna need you to wake up, man. People are spreading the ball out now, and that's what's successful. Last year they were 5-6, so they kind of did have a down year. But a lot of those games they lost were like close games. They lost to Tennessee in a close one. They lost to Miami by 1 point in a close one. They lost to Clemson only by 14 points. Then they lost to Virginia in a close one. So they lost to a lot of teams in close games. So I think they can definitely be better this year. And I think that team is very talented. Then I'm going to skip on up to the Virginia Tech Hokies. I think they will be the second best team in the Coastal. They lost so much this year, so much, especially on the defensive side. Mook Reynolds getting kicked off the team, Adonis getting kicked off the team, Adonis Alexander. I just think, they just lost a lot. I still think they'll get 9 wins because their division is so weak. But I do think they won't be the best team. And I think by far the best team in that conference is Miami. At this point, it's really Miami's to lose. Malik Rozier comes back for another year. Excited to see what he's going to do this year. And, it's really Malik's. It's going to be Miami's to lose, really. I don't see Virginia Tech really. Josh Jackson being out plays a big role. Like I said, it's really Miami's to lose at this point. Now I'm going to get on to the Atlantic side of it. The Atlantic side, I have Syracuse as being the lowest rated team, but I think Syracuse actually gets into a bowl this year. I see them going about 7-5, 6-6. And then, I like what they did. Dino Barbers did a great job up there, just, making that program more efficient, more better. They obviously knocked off Clemson last year, and I think they're a good team. The team above them, I have the Louisville Cardinals. I think Louisville's going to take a step down, obviously, after losing Lamar Jackson. You can't think that you're going to be better than that. It's just common sense, last year, even though last year they went 8-5, I think this year I'm predicting more of a 6-6 type season for them. Just to the fact of losing Lamar Jackson. After them, I actually have Boston College coming in right before them. I think Boston College's offense is going to be actually pretty good this year. They got Wade at quarterback and as well as Dylan at running back. They're bringing back a lot, and I think they're going to be very impressive this year. And a team that I really have my eye on this year that I think is going to be very impressive, and I'm expecting them to get 8 to 9 wins, is the Wake Forest Deacons. I think that they're going to really set the tone this year. Their defense has been good for the last 2 or 3 years, but I think this year they're really going to take that next step forward. Dave Clawson has did an amazing job with them, and I think they're going to be really good. I like what they have. Kendall hitting at quarterback, and I think they're really going to do something special this year. And at the 3 spot right above them, I actually have NC State. I think NC State, they had a 9-win season last year. I believe they will take a step down, obviously losing all they lost on defense. They lost their whole D-line last year, and they lost Hines and, Jalen Samuels. So they will take a step down this year, but I still think they get 8 wins probably. After that, I have the Florida State Seminoles and Willie Taggart. I have them getting about maybe 8 to 9 wins. Obviously, Florida State had a down year. After, Francois got hurt, you can kind of tell the guys kind of just gave up. They didn't care anymore. And they just wanted to be done with the season and wanted to protect themselves for the draft. Guys like Derwin James and things like that. And I can't blame them. They were just done. So I really don't blame them. And you can just see it on the field as well. And finally, I think everybody knows Clemson is going to be the best team in the ACC next year. I don't even think that's really up to question with that D-line. Clem Farrell, Dexter Lawrence, Austin Bryant. Those guys are just Christian Wilkins. That defensive line can win them 5 games by themselves. So I just think, their only problem is going to be the quarterback situation. If they can get that figured out, Clemson's going probably 13-0, maybe 12-1. They'll drop a game they're not supposed to drop. They always do that every year. But you guys get in the comment box, man. Tell me how y'all feel about my ACC preview, man. And who do you think is going to be the best team in the ACC? Who do you think is going to be a shock? I'm out.